It's like not even getting darker.
Hey guys, it's Nadia. Welcome back to my channel. Grab your cozy beverage of choice and your sketchbook or art piece that you're working on, or just pet to snuggle up with, and thank you for joining me today. Today I am working with a limited color palette. I'm only using, well, I guess 3 colors if you count black, which I do because, well, we'll get to that, but it definitely is its own color and not just like a tool. So I'm using 3 colors today. I'm using manganese blue, Indian red, and black. I think I've talked before about how I like using limited color palettes to help create a more specific mood or a more cohesive image. And it's true. I think that just looking at every color in your palette can get overwhelming. So reducing it, picking like 2 or 3 that really work well together, or 2 or 3 that maybe don't work that well together, and figuring it out can just kind of, for me, trigger some like extra creativity and like, what do these 2 specific colors like bring out from me? I also generally think it's like a great way to help with, people ask about what to do about creative block all of the time, and I think that something that I always find helpful when I don't know what to paint or color or draw is give myself a limited palette to work with, maybe something I haven't done before, and kind of think about what does it invoke, and kind of let the creativity come from that as like a source. The reason I chose these 2 colors together was because it wasn't exactly an original thing. I saw someone else using a different combination of like similar colors. In general, I think blue tones and brown tones mixed together can usually create like really good moody vibes, which is kind of what I wanted for this one. I chose the Indian red because I wanted it to be like a little bit warmer than just like straight up moody grays. For this piece, I actually came up with the image first, and then after that, the idea for the color palette came pretty clearly. So you can't really like, maybe you can, maybe you can't. I have bad eyes, so I'm just gonna assume everyone's vision is as bad as mine. The image is a woman's face, or a feminine face, and her jaw is kind of detached in her hand at the bottom of the picture, and then there's like this blue, I guess, vomity stuff projecting from her face. So I kind of sketched a small thumbnail of that in my sketchbook and did a few different versions of it, and I knew that I wanted lots of blues in it. Ideally, I wanted a little bit more teals, but I didn't want to bring yellow into the palette to mix that color, and I don't have any like just pure teal paints. So that was kind of the process of how this came to be. Maybe one day I'll like show the thumbnailing process. I don't think it's anything particularly interesting. And actually I probably won't, just because it happens very randomly, like between sessions or like right after work, or I just get an idea for something and I'll just like quickly do a tiny little thumbnail sketch, like the size of a postcard, even smaller maybe, just to like solidify the idea, so that I can remember to go back to it at some point. But it's very random, so I think it would be like pretty challenging for me to try and like sit down and show what the process is like, because it feels like trying to do that would break the process and be inauthentic. So I'll just describe it to you, and I just do little thumbnail sketches when I have an idea for a painting. I had this idea a few months ago. Over the summer, I was experiencing a bit of a grief wave, and I feel like I've described a couple of my paintings using similar terms, and that's okay, because for me, art has always been like a way to try and make sense of the feelings inside of me and outside of me. So for this one, I was experiencing a bit of a grief wave, and the thing that was coming up for me was kind of the like wordlessness of it all. More specifically, like that feeling of having like a million emotions and like no words to really adequately capture them. And the beauty for me about painting is it, using that exact example of like wordlessness and not knowing how to like express a specific feeling, it gives me a different option for doing that. Words are not everyone's strongest avenue of expression. And I think normalizing different ways for people to have those outlets is really important, because assuming even I'm a therapist and a poet, I know words to express myself, and still it's not always the most natural way for me to do that. So it's not even about like a lack of skill set, which I think people stereotype. I think that it's just that for cultural reasons, personality differences, words are not always the best go-to. You might want to express yourself in another means. For me, another avenue is like painting, drawing, but even that, it could be anything, as long as it feels expressive to you. Just as an example of that, my husband is very expressive in cooking. That is kind of his creative outlet, and for him, the process is both meditative and helps him to like get the feelings externalized instead of just like living in his head out onto, instead of paper, like whatever platter, I guess. I feel very lucky to have discovered painting and drawing as that source of self-expression for me. And even if you don't have something like that, I just really recommend exploring things that you enjoy. You don't have to be good at it at all. And I mean, I think I'm just now starting to be like a little bit good at painting, but that was definitely not the case when it started fulfilling this role for me. So right now it's 2022, and I've been drawing consistently since like 2019, and inconsistently but still like kind of frequently since like 2016, and I'm just now starting to be like pretty okay at it. So it doesn't matter if it looks good. What matters is that it means something to you. And I am really happy with how this painting came out. This was just one of those paintings where like you step back and feel relief and just like joy, excitement. it just came out how I wanted it to for the most part, and I'm always just very like thankful when it works out. I think that I'm very patient with myself when it doesn't work out. But I think this is the first painting in a while where I have like nothing to say, nothing that I would change or criticize or do differently. I mean, except like constructive criticisms here and there, but like for the most part, it's what I wanted it to be, and that's just a really awesome feeling. Well, here is the finished product. Thank you so much for watching it with me and kind of going through the process. I hope you had a good time, and I will see you in the next one.